What is up, fellow bench warmers? This is your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? Another day, another quickie. It's an almost daily fantasy quickie. My name is JJT. With Komish Eric, we skipped Judgment Day yesterday because we had some prior commitments plus work commitments. It's like we're the busiest people out there, but yeah, it's the time of the year for us in what we do, nearing the holiday season. So, but anyway, today, Komish, how was your Judgment Day?
Bad. Very bad. Although in FBW, I lost the mailman league. I lost 1-8. But that was close though. Three categories were close, but not my week. Not my week last week there in the mailman league. Overall, mixed bag in FBW, but in my other leagues, really been very bad.
Vent out. Injuries. Do you feel like injuries this year have been a little worse than maybe
I think
years?
not.
Or maybe some of our teams are just hit badly.
I take responsibility for the team that was hit really worse. That the team in our league where I picked up Harden and CP3 at the same time. So I think that's not really advisable. I think I don't know, looking at it in hindsight, because CP3 of course a little older, Harden the past few years not been healthy, so maybe I was asking for it also with those picks. So, and also in our invitationals I picked Zion and Paul George, so that's again another thing that you pick Paul George, kind of it's not been very good health-wise the past few seasons. So maybe you're also asking for it by picking him. I don't know. That's just what I think. Maybe it's really my mistake. Really my mistake. The way the team was composed.
Yeah. And speaking of injuries, we have another potentially major casualty here. Still no news yet on the extent of the injury. But Karl Anthony-Towns, as far as the first rounders go, looks like this year has been really, really bad. Harden, LaMelo, right? Karl Anthony-Towns, Lillard, right? That's four players there. And LeBron was initially got injured as well. Jokic has had some illness, right? Embiid still, maybe has some lingering foot issue. So a lot of the first rounders have been badly hit.
That's true. And year. Actually, for me, really big, the biggest swing this year has been SGA. That's just what I think. SGA has been the biggest swing because he's basically not just a first rounder. He's basically top 5, top 3 guy that you picked in the 50s.
And
sometimes
and Anthony Davis.
Well, Anthony Davis, at least, I'm sure he was picked at least, if not 15, 14, sometimes 20 at the very latest. But the injury to SGA before the season dropped him all the way to 50s, 40s. And if you get a top 3 player in the 50s and you picked up, let's say, a KD, and in the second round you also did well, third round you also did well. You basically have so many first rounders in your team. So that's really, I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of leagues that have imbalanced rosters. Just put it that way.
Yeah, actually, if I look at some of the FBW leagues, top 3, there are some leagues where in the top 3 teams are 4-5 games ahead of the from the 4th place team, which is a lot already, considering we're just 6 weeks in, right? This is just week 7. So that's a lot of games already. That just means that the top teams are really doing the 7-2s, the 8-1s, or maybe at least 6-3s in their matchups every week, right? So yeah, probably there are some imbalances out there, but it's still early, right?
Well, we're 1/4 into the season, aren't we? In
Yeah,
which
actually.
week are we? Week 7. Actually, we're more than one. Actually, we're 1/3 in already to the season. So
When do you decide to make a major move? Major,
now is the time you make a major move. I
if
think.
you're in
If
at the
you're,
bottom of the standings or somewhere there.
yeah, I think you have to make a move already at this point because it's 7 weeks. If you do, what do you mean? If you do 16, 17 weeks in your fantasy leagues, it's not enough time. If you're way down, like I'm looking at the team that I said was ravaged with injuries. If I go 2-7 this week or 1-8, which is very possible because I don't have players, I'll be around 10 games behind.
Behind the
10 games
six.
behind
Because that's a top
the
six.
top six. Yeah, even if I put it in top 8, I'll still be very behind. So by now you have to make your move if you want to make a move. I'm just kind of busy and also really low energy in that league too. I really feel very demoralized in that league to make any moves. Plus, I really don't know what moves to make either. So,
Yeah, because
but
that's another challenge because if you are ravaged by injuries, it's so hard to accept that you would probably sell these players low,
yeah,
right? I mean,
true.
you wouldn't be able to sell them as on a really good value at this point, especially if they're injured, unless it's maybe a short term injury, right? But
Mm.
it's hard to sell them at a good value. So you'll
Yes,
probably be
yes.
forced to take someone less. And if you're gonna rely on just ad dropping, that won't work because in very competitive leagues, I don't think there's a jackpot ad there for you, right? And it's not an assurance even that you'll get to a that there'll be a player there that's gonna be a jackpot ad, right?
Well, there's no jack. Well, the balls. I mean, I feel like ball is a jackpot ad
Yeah,
this season.
probably
Same.
yes.
I remember Keldon Johnson 2 seasons ago. He was like not really jackpot, but he was probably one of the best ads that season. But ball is on another level this season. So I
Bane
think
last year, probably
Bane
Bane
last
last
year,
year.
yes, Bane last year, ball this year. Those are the things. But these guys usually emerge early in the season, like
Yeah,
week 2, week 3, week 7 or 8. Kind of hard unless, of course, it's injury related thing. Like Shake Milton, for instance,
yeah.
it's not really jackpot, but if you got him and get 2 weeks of him, 3 weeks of this kind of performance, that helps you at least if you like to compete. If you lost maybe a CP3 or a whoever guard, so those are not really jackpot for the rest of the season, but at least really good ads. But there's
Makes you
gonna
a
be
little
very
more competitive.
rare, very hard, and you have to be really
Yeah.
fast. And in our FBW leagues, as
Everyone's fast.
well,
Everyone's
everyone's fast. Everyone's fast.
everyone's fast. And since we're managing 17 leagues, right? By the time I get to the league we're in, a player was available. It's done. He was already picked up, right? So it's so hard to get certain
Yeah,
players. I hit some, I got some luck there. I was able to pick ball in one league, shake in maybe a couple of leagues, right? Maybe Caleb in one league. I was able to hold on to him. Some of the hot players right now, but not you can't do it with everyone, and you'll have doubts too, right? If you add, if they got hot like ball, right? You're gonna think twice initially. Will this stick? Will this and you
I
don't want
have
to drop a very significant player for something you're not sure yet.
I have a criteria for that. Ball, I was able to pick up some balls in our FBW league because when he started, when he was about to be moved to the starting position, I really added him everywhere. I knew that the minutes is really what he needed because there's something unique with Bol. You could see it, the skill set, the stat set. There was something unique, but he wasn't able to stay healthy and get the minutes. So that is a criteria I look for. Finding someone like Bol, if he hits, is huge. Yeah, it's really hard to find someone like Bol who can block, score threes, rebound, center. I think he's center eligible, right?
I couldn't remember, but
yeah,
I think yes, he should be. Like
he
what?
should be.
He's what, 7'4", 7'6"?
So those are the things. If it was just a shooting guard who's hot, maybe I'll be more wary. A Terrence Ross maybe gets 3 straight 20 plus points. I mean, those kind of players I would not lose sleep over not getting. But a point guard maybe, or a center who showing some signs of getting hot, just add them. Just add them and then figure it out later. You can drop them anytime.
Yeah. Going back to Karl Anthony-Towns, who benefits here? Gobert, come on, Gobert. I'm hoping for Gobert to benefit.
Not the ad. The benefit, yes. Kyle Anderson is Rudy Gobert is of course the benefit. I wrote that the 5-man lineup of the Wolves with Kyle Anderson instead of Gobert was their best net rated team, plus minus. Their best 5-man lineup was that lineup. So now with Towns out, they could just put Gobert in that lineup, replacing Towns, and then maybe play that lineup for big minutes.
Just to clarify, it's basically D'Lo, D'Angelo Russell, Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, Kyle Anderson, and Gobert.
It should be Towns, but since Towns is out, maybe Gobert goes there. But although it's really different, no? Gobert and Towns are two different players, but I do believe Gobert will get a big boost with Towns out.
Yeah, the scoring wise, hopefully the scoring goes up a bit because Kyle Anderson is really not known for scoring, but more of the playmaking.
Actually, the rebounds I think should also increase.
Yes, the rebounds. Yes,
the rebounds, because Towns even if his rebounds went down, he's still kind of getting almost 9 or 10 rebounds a game. So that's still a huge thing to make up for. But as we mentioned, Kyle Anderson, he's an ad. Definitely started for Karl Anthony-Towns. If people have been asking about Jaylen Noel, I think he's been hot the past 2 games. You could maybe gamble with him. He's an example of a guy that if someone else added him, let them add him. It's okay. Because
not a big
shooting
loss.
Guard,
not a big loss.
Not a big loss. But if you have an extra spot in your deep league, I think you can gamble on Noel because he's probably gonna be needed off the bench scoring. They lost Towns scoring, so Noel might be the guy to replace that.
And maybe Anthony Edwards gets himself going as well.
Yes. He's been doing better.
Yeah, he's been doing better, but of course, without Karl Anthony-Towns, the scoring might be more consistent.
The injury to Towns is a calf strain. Yeah. But when you saw what happened, it was the same with Kobe and KD and everybody else, and DeMarcus Cousins when they just felt something. Well, they were.
It was a non-contact leg injury.
Nobody was beside them, and they just felt something.
Are you saying it could be Achilles?
No, well, they already have a diagnosis of calf strain, so I guess it's not Achilles. But it looked like that. I mean, everybody was thinking it was an Achilles tear. But calf strains can lead to Achilles problems. That's what happened to KD in the finals when he came. He was out for a month, right? That time, I think a month or so, and then he came back to play in the finals, and then he got the tear. So, if the level of severity of Karl Anthony-Towns grade 2 or grade 3 strain, he could be out months. We're not talking days.
We're not talking about weeks.
Well, if it's just a grade 1 strain or something, maybe weeks. But if it's like Kevin Durant before, that was 1 month and a little bit more, and he got injured right away after. So not the worst news, but it's not really
Not good either.
good news.
Not
good either. Yeah.
So another player goes down. That's Karl Anthony-Towns. So anyway, you can't add Kyle Anderson, but again, I think not the must add type. Like, yeah, he can be okay, but
I think in 14 team leagues, it's okay. I
he
think you
can
can
be
add him.
if you missed out on players like Bruce Brown or maybe Royce, he can be that
Yeah.
guy for you.
Royce O'Neal, Bruce Brown,
Yeah,
those kind
you
of
add
players.
Kyle Anderson there to the list, who can do pretty much everything.
Or if you're punting points,
Yeah.
that's also a very good player.
Or if you're just desperate for someone who's gonna be fantasy relevant, right? I mean,
who's
why
healthy?
not? Why not? Right?
Who's healthy? Yeah.
Yeah, who's healthy? Why
Relevant
not?
and
Why
healthy.
not? In a 14 team, that's gonna be there. The waiver wire is just there's really not much there on the waiver wire. Ben Simmons also got hurt.
The sore knee, the knee thing. What was more interesting for me is how they described it. It was wear and tear or something, like accumulation of minutes. I was thinking, how many games has he played for it to be an accumulation of minutes, and the number of minutes he was being used according to Coach Von. They played him too much or something like that, to that effect. So maybe this changes his minutes outlook going forward. So this is also something to watch out
Monitor,
for.
yeah.
And if you own Ben, this is not good, because the coach said they were warned about this, that he could have something with his knee if they play him too much. So the managing of Ben Simmons' minutes going forward will limit his value. He was doing so well before today.
Yeah.
That's a big blow.
Yeah.
Hope you traded him. Hope you traded him while he was out.
Well, if not, then yeah, it's going to be harder now to trade him. But in case your trade partner does not listen here, right? You might think that it's a short-term injury, and yeah, but I think he's gonna be solid whenever he plays. That's just what I think. Regardless whether you trade him or not, even if you don't, I don't think you're not gonna miss out as long as he plays. He's probably gonna manage. They're gonna manage him, but I don't think he's gonna be like Kawhi managed.
Understood. I agree.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's annoying.
It's annoying, but not as annoying as the other players.
At least he's gonna play. I mean, games.
Not Jimmy Butler annoying, or maybe Kawhi Leonard annoying.
Yes, that's true.
I guess the only danger here if it gets worse. But yeah, I think I don't think he's a must trade at this point, especially if it fits your team. A player coming back, Kemba Walker. Just quickly, should we add Kemba Walker?
No,
I didn't go run. I didn't go add Kemba Walker.
This is not the stop what you're doing and run and add him.
Yeah,
right? This is stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Think about it. Then continue what you're doing. Kind of thing. Let somebody else deal with it. He's not gonna start. For one, I don't think he's gonna get 30 minutes, 25 minutes. I think 17, 18 minutes. He's always just been a scorer. The last time we saw him, he wasn't that good. So I think there will be games where he'll explode. He'll give them the scoring punch that they need, the help to Luka. But fantasy wise, we should not be really considering him unless maybe you're in a 30-team league. That is the only time you think about him.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. We don't need to talk much about Kemba Walker. If Facu, who was waived for this roster spot, was not even rosterable, I don't think Kemba would. But he might have some good games though. He might.
He would. I would say he would.
I think he's good enough to string a few nice games here and there. But to be consistent, that I'm not sure. This is another player who just fell off so quickly.
Yeah, but he's the guy who had so many injuries with his knees, right? I mean, even the past few years that he was still good, just a lot of problems with his knees. So not surprising. I think not surprising.
Yeah, but it was just so. I think I just feel like it was came down. He came. He just it was fast. Everything went by so fast for Kemba Walker. Anyway, well, let's talk about some feel good players. Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah,
I saw a tweet um something about LaMelo and Tyrese, and in hindsight, it should have been Tyrese, right? Not LaMelo.
I've said that from the very beginning. I said it's really Tyrese Haliburton. A lot of people were questioning it. That's why I really had second thoughts also. Like, is it correct? Is it Tyrese, right? Because I was picking him as high as 6 or 7. I picked him once 7th over LaMelo. I actually picked him over LaMelo every time I could. I don't have any LaMelo, but that's in hindsight also. That's correct. But that's one of the few draft choices that I got right. And but having said that, I think LaMelo's just a little unlucky. If he wasn't, I mean, the sprained ankle, everybody can get a sprained ankle. And then the second sprained ankle, I mean, that's a fan. How rare do you see something like that? So he's just unlucky. If he wasn't hurt, I think it would be close between Haliburton and LaMelo. I think, but I would still think the efficiency of Haliburton, it's really something. Like 40 assists without a turnover.
44 assists.
44
0 turnovers.
Without a turnover. I mean,
yeah.
That's something else.
Crazy
something
efficiency. Else. So another player who has really emerged into the.
If they're asking why we're comparing these two guys, not only because they're point guards, but the same build. Their
same
scoring
build.
Is problematic.
They play the same way pretty much.
Yeah.
Right?
But the scoring is problematic. I own Haliburton, I'm not complaining, but it's kind of a problem. Like if your first rounder is scoring 16 points, 17, sometimes 19, 20, it's gonna hurt if you don't have any other back of your roster. That if you have players like Jaden McDaniels in your team, and then maybe you add Kyle Anderson, you're not gonna be competitive in points.
One comparison I've been seeing about Tyrese's game is Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
And I don't think Chris Paul was a first rounder, a strong first rounder.
Well, he was a first rounder, but I agree he wasn't a top 5 pick, maybe.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I don't remember that being a top 5. I remember him
he's
being a top 5.
He's usually there, maybe a early second rounder type of player to mid. I mean,
yes,
not really a strong. Yeah, he is a first rounder, right? Not like the Steph Curry's, the KD, even the LeBrons, right? Not a strong first rounder. You've always remembered the Chris Paul of maybe at best your second round player.
He was a first rounder, but I get your point. I think the scoring also is the problem with Chris Paul, but he always ended up in the first round, and he was drafted usually in the first round, but very similar to where Haliburton was going in the drafts. Very similar.
Yeah.
So I that's where the comparisons really are.
Yeah. So Tyrese, to those who drafted, there are lots of fantasy analysts. We're also high on Tyrese Haliburton. But a lot more, I could say, we're still drafting LaMelo higher than Tyrese. But like you said, LaMelo's just been unlucky.
It's just week 7.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't really had a string of good games, or he hasn't really had any games at all. Like just 2 games played, right? Just 2 games played, and the situation as well would make this look bad for LaMelo in fantasy. The situation the Hornets are in right now, they're one of the worst teams. Not much to play for. Lots of players injured. They're not really a good team overall, right? You're not as competitive as before. While Indiana has been winning.
Yes.
So that's a big difference there.
And that's not what we thought would happen. That was the opposite. We thought Charlotte had a chance to be in the play-in or at least contending, and Haliburton's Indiana would be tanking. That was everybody's worry. Remember, Indiana's tanking. So Haliburton's a risky pick. But well, so far it's the opposite. I didn't see that coming because of the rumors about Miles Turner and Buddy Hield being traded for Westbrook. So people already assumed that Indiana didn't have any interest in competing this year.
Yeah.
But well, so far that's not what happened.
Yeah. The other feel-good player, Devin Booker. I'm not a big fan. I would, I have to admit, during drafts, he's always available for me to pick, right? But, in fact, we're always there at the latter part of the first round, right? So the chance to pick him maybe on that 16th, 17th, 18th spots were available, but I didn't pick him at all. I was just a big fan. I didn't think he was gonna be this good. I'm not sure if it's the Chris Paul effect that Chris Paul's not there, but so far it's been really great. I mean, rebounding, he rebounds, he assists are there. The steals today, he had 6.
Yeah, that's
right?
a fluke though. That's a fluke.
I don't know,
think. Yeah, but still good to see. Still good to see. I 3 years ago, I didn't like Booker. I had him at the 40s. Last year, he showed me something. I remember we talking about it. I said Booker has to average 25 to 28 points. And Chris Paul's entry will not allow him to do that. So that's what I said. And I think this year he has been able to get everything all together. He's scoring 27 points, getting the assists, and some steals also.
And then that Phoenix team has also been starting, particularly the core group of that Phoenix team is slowly getting it together. Like even Mikal has been putting up great numbers. Usually for Roto, but he's had some good games. Like he used to have some, good games, and then he was gonna have some 7-point games, some 6-point games, right? That was the Mikal of old, right? But across the board, he's gonna contribute. Now he's been scoring 15, 16 points more consistently than usual, which makes it really good for a player like Mikal who's gonna, help you with all 9 categories.
Yeah.
Even the turnovers. Right. So Phoenix has been really playing well, and Devin Booker is leading the way.
Which is bad for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
For us Chris Paul owners. For me, a Chris Paul owner, because they're taking their sweet time. No, there's no urgency to let him come back. He's practiced sometimes, sometimes no practice, taking some shots. Doesn't seem that injured, but he just wants to be 120% healthy. So Cameron Payne is like doing a good job, quarterbacking for the team. So I don't know how long we'll have to wait for Chris Paul, to be honest. At least Jimmy Butler's coming back this weekend. Chris Paul.
At least now we think, because remember, coming into the season, I even asked you, how do you value Chris Paul? Because every year, Chris Paul has been overlooked just because he's old, right? There's this sense that they're gonna manage him. It looks like this is the year when that happens. Because last year he was okay. You never really felt like he was out for a long time. Although he was out for a few games too.
That was at the back of my head also. How do you value him? Will he fall off a cliff? Injuries and all of those things. But I didn't expect it to be this early into the season.
Yeah, that too.
For him to get injured.
Because last year he got injured, I think, a little late in the season.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about the falling off because he's old. I think he's still good. I still see that he's still solid. And from where I was picking him, which was a 3rd round in a 14-team league, I think it was okay. It was okay. But still, of course, pairing him with the injury-prone player, not a good idea.
Yeah.
Going forward, also that's something we have to keep in mind all the time.
And now that third round, in hindsight, should have been SGA, right? I mean,
should have been SGA. Well,
instead of
a second round
Chris Paul.
even.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not. I'm not talking about Chris Paul when we talk about SGA. It was Cade. Cade was going way ahead of SGA. People were.
Okay, to be fair as well to Cade, Cade's a little unlucky as well with the injuries.
How is that unlucky? That's a shin injury. That's something that's not, he wasn't hit by someone, or LaMelo's unlucky, but Cade had it from the preseason and from training camp. It wasn't something that someone hit him with. Stress fracture, I think they're talking about possible stress fracture into that shin. So
yeah, you're right. I think it was something that was not as reported. That was not reported really early, and then it was reported after 2-3 weeks, right?
Everything's so ironic, SGA not pick him because he's not gonna end the season. They're gonna tank. They're gonna whatever. Let's pick Cade second round or third round because he's gonna break out.
No, but let's face it, we were quite high on Cade as well. Of course, barring the injury, we didn't know about the injury problems. We were a bit high on Cade as well, just because there were lacking options there in the second round to third round.
That's true.
That's right? True. I remember it very early. I think in the earlier drafts I picked Cade a little early, like late second round, and then I stopped picking him during those in the latter part of the drafts, the later drafts, just because I didn't want too many kids as well. And then, of course, I felt a little more comfortable with the other players as we saw what the preseason was showing. But we were high on Cade just because there, again, lack of options. He played well last year, right?
I had one Cade. That was the earliest draft we did, and that was the offline draft. I have one Cade, and I picked him way too early. That was really a mistake. But as I was just saying that if we're worried about SGA, tanking, injury prone, and all those things, Detroit isn't better than OKC. So even before the draft or during the draft, that had to be part of the conversation, part of the thing, the risk with Cade. But everybody just kind of forgot about it, that they could also rest Cade even if he wasn't injured. Now they could have rested him, because they were tanking.
No, because last year they didn't rest Cade.
Well, yes, but
and they were also tanking.
If everybody's thinking that Cade will take a next step, because Cade was injured early on, so but
and we've had history of OKC just resting players for no reason at all. True, I think that's another factor there.
That's true. But again,
that didn't stop many from drafting Giddey.
Josh Giddey. Exactly. He's a worry player today.
Right? 40s.
He's a worry player today. Maybe we can just go straight to a little bit about Josh Giddey. So worry player today. He was picked in the 50s. It's around 130 something. Same as last season. His numbers are basically the same as last season. Worse. His assists went down. The only difference is from 41% is 46% from field goal this season. That's it. Yeah. Even free throws is still 70% less than 70%. So it's the same thing. And again, I wasn't high on Giddey at all during the draft. I was telling you, I don't see him going from 130 plus to 50 all of a sudden. I don't see it. I just don't, because he doesn't steal the ball, doesn't block, doesn't shoot a lot of 3-pointers. But at the later part, I don't know if it was, where did he play? Summer League? I don't know. Summer League.
Some preseason games.
He was really good.
He was really good.
I was thinking, maybe he made a mistake. So I drafted him last in the FBI League, in the Fantrax FBI World Cup League. And I'm really regretting that pick. But in a Yahoo Leagues, I don't have any Josh Giddey.
I have a few. I think I only have one. That's for the invitationals.
Yeah.
I have two Josh Giddy. Yeah, invitationals and the Roto League. One Roto
Well,
League.
one thing I can see is there's still room for improvement with Josh. If SGA somehow gets injured, he hurt his tailbone today. He played through it. Maybe that's their sign to rest him a couple of games, not to force him to play. That would be very, very good for Josh Giddey. That would be perfect for Josh Giddey's value.
Yeah,
Because right now,
maybe any first impressions we've had with certain players, any I can't say prediction, but any impressions we've had before of certain players, like the OKC resting, maybe it will happen. It's just that SJ has been playing so good that we've totally forgot about them resting their players. But maybe at some point this season, it can still happen. I'm not saying we want it to happen, but right now, no one's talking about, OKC resting players, right? No one's talking about that. No one's.
they will.
Right?
They will.
See, commissions, they will. But you won't think about that right now because of the way SGA's been playing. He's played majority of the season. So majority of the games.
People think that OKC has been playing better than expected, which is true. They're playing better than expected, but they're still fourth to the last. They're 8-13. They're just two. They just have 2 wins more than the worst team, which is Houston. Well, the Lakers is just below them, but the Spurs and the Rockets both have 15 losses. So they're not gonna make the play-in tournament. So they're gonna rest. They're gonna rest players. Matter of when.
Just a matter of when. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's quickly talk about some of the hot players. Caleb Martin. Do you think it's gonna be sustainable? This is funny. I have to share funny stories because there've been an FBW trade that happened. It was somehow, I think it was the first trade that was vetoed. And then the managers, fixed the deal a little bit. And then we approved it. But Commission and I were talking about Caleb Martin because he was included in that deal. And we were saying, why does one manager want Caleb Martin so bad? We know that he hasn't really shown much. And at that time, it was the early part of the Jimmy Butler injury, I think. So it's selling high, but what's the ceiling of Caleb Martin, right? It's not really high. But after that, I'm always messaging Komish because Caleb Martin's been really, really hot since that trade.
Really hot.
Since that trade. And specifically since that trade was approved. Exactly.
That's true.
I could not forget that because, the first time that he played after that trade, he started that string of really good games. But Jimmy Butler's coming back. So that will change things.
That will change things. I don't think this is sustainable, but he won't be as bad as I think early on.
Yeah.
But he's not really that good either. He's okay. One thing with him is the opportunity is there. He's still the power forward. But long term, rest of the season, I'm not as confident or comfortable with him. One of our friends, Max, is trying to sell him to me in our invitationals, and that says something in my mind that he knows it's not gonna be sustained with Caleb Martin. So cash in with Caleb.
Malik Monk, another player who's hot. Do you think he's gonna be sustainable?
No.
But he's been a big part of the Sacramento,
Yes, but his averages is the same as last year with the Lakers. 13 points, couple of assists, 4 assists a game. He has this knack of getting.
But still rosterable, right?
Yes, he's rosterable. For sure, he's this hot. Of course, you roster him. Yeah, but he just has this. We have an impression of him being better than what he is because he has games like today, 30 points, 8 assists. And you think, whoa, this guy's good. And then the next game is 25, 24. Same with Aaron Gordon, actually. Aaron Gordon has 30 point, 10 rebound games, 25, 8 rebound games, something like that. And people say, why is he not ranked that high? And if you look at the averages, you'll be shocked, why is the average so low? Because he also has a lot of bad games.
Yeah.
A lot of bad games. So Monk not gonna be this hot, but he's rosterable. And if you want to add him in the +1 deals, you can do that.
Shake Milton, of course, another. I told
Of
you,
course.
Shake Milton, better up. He's gonna be better than Milton.
No, I'm still gonna debate that. He's not better than Milton.
No, I mean, anyway, it was a
okay,
DFS conversation that we had. I told him I think Shake would be a better DFS player than Milton, just because he can score more. And now he showed that he can pass, he can also rebound. The only thing missing from him are the stocks, which Milton does well, but Milton couldn't score consistently as he has shown without Embiid. So, but having said that, though, Milton's still the guy for long-term hold and not Milton.
Yes.
His game could. We're just waiting for Harden, which is probably any day now.
Really? I don't have any update.
I don't know. It feels like it's been a month.
Or are you making me a little happy? With
I don't know. That's just.
I know.
No, probably within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. I think
December 15, something like that.
Next couple of weeks. Within the next couple of weeks. So, but Shake Milton, hot, but use the roster him, don't drop him. Dorian Finney-Smith, my favorite utility player, is slowly getting that.
I'll compare him to Herb because Herb has been dropped. Herb Jones has been dropped, right? Both of them basically similar. And Herb today had 4 steals, 3 blocks.
Yeah.
So
the 4 steals, 3 blocks we've been waiting for since the start of the season.
I still want Herb.
Yeah.
So?
Yeah, of course. Herb is still the better option because maybe he's part of that core. Yeah, but I know I still want Herb, but there are certain parts of the game of both players that I feel Dorian Finney-Smith is above Herb, like scoring threes. Right? Maybe that's the only 2 things.
Scoring for me is the same. I mean, actually, Herb is averaging more than Dorian. Doesn't look like it, but he is. So
no, I wouldn't be surprised because Dorian started really, really slow.
Yes. So I still prefer Herb, of course, but talking about sustainable, I think Dorian can sustain what he's doing now. I think he can. Yeah. Maybe not as consistent, but overall, average-wise, I think he can. Herb Jones, I'm not as confident. I know people are saying, hey, finally, we got the Herb Jones thing. We finally got... But, there's no CJ. Brandon Ingram was out. So if they're healthy, I don't think he's going to be this good. This consistent.
Plus the sample size of him not, doing well with the stocks department has been bigger than this, right? Very rare as he had some good steals, blocks numbers this year compared to, latter part of last year, right? So
yes.
But DFS, I think you continue to hold him while he's hot. I think he's a big part of that Dallas lineup. So anyway, let's talk about the face-off. One face-off. Yesterday's face-off was what? Yesterday's face-off was Bradley Beal and Jaylen Brown.
That one's good. I like that one.
Bradley Beal and Jaylen Brown. What do you think?
Actually,
you don't like Jaylen Brown, though.
You picked Jaylen Brown over Bradley Beal?
No, I picked Bradley Beal. I picked Bradley Beal even before the season.
Yeah, I know. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good pick. We were comparing Jaylen with Desmond Bane a lot of times, but Bane's injured.
Yeah.
And I saw what Beal is doing. Beal, 50, 40, 90 kind of a score season. That is before the year, I told you his shooting just went down the past few years. Maybe he's gotten old, something like that. But now he's proven me wrong, proven me way wrong. And to be honest, I was down on Beal. I was also down on Jaylen Brown. So I was down on both of these players, and both of them have proven me wrong. Jaylen, I mean, he's taken a step. He's taken a step, really.
I told you.
Yeah, he's taken a step, and maybe it's also biased because last year he destroyed. In our league, he was the guy that was injured with a hamstring and everything. And I was so irritated that just couldn't get healthy, and then the free throws and everything.
Just also to be fair to, I mean, to just get some. I've been watching some Boston game. Boston has really stepped it up. Not just Jaylen. I think everyone there has had that newfound confidence that, we've been to the finals, so they have this championship confidence even if they lost. That it's just a different vibe. Like if you look at Marcus Smart, we haven't really talked a lot about Marcus Smart being a worry player. He used to be a worry player all the time. Now he's also been playing well. He's been playing great.
He has been playing. Yeah, he's been playing well.
And Tatum took another step, right? Another level. The only person maybe we're gonna complain about is Al Horford, but let's not go there once again. But
he's actually not been that bad.
Not bad, but not good. Yeah. Good that you, not the last year Al Horford that surprised us all.
Not that level, but he's top, I think 70 already or 60. Yeah. So he's been okay. He's been okay. Horford's been okay. Yeah, I did see this because of the whole, who's their coach? The guy was a...
I don't even know the name of their coach.
No, not this coach. The coach. Ime. Yeah. Udoka? Ime Udoka. So I didn't think that they would have this seamless transition to this new coach, the way they're doing. But I agree with you. That I think I underestimated the finals boost that they have, that they got. That we have been to the finals. That has a certain swag to it. So yeah, that was big. That was big for them. And
so who do you like rest of the season though? Beal or Jaylen?
Rest of the season it's Beal. Still Beal. I think for one, I think the Wizards would need him more. The Wizards would need him to perform more or to play more. And the shooting, I think, is sustainable. He's been a good shooter before, so maybe there was just something wrong with his, I don't know, shoulder or something.
Yeah, and he's a legit scorer too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not someone who's gonna really he if there's anything Beal does well, that's scoring. The others are just icing on the cake, right? I mean, the rebounding, the assist numbers are good, but they missed Monte as well for a few games, so maybe that brings the assist a little lower later on. But he can also rebound. The steals, though, not really known for that, but we'll take that. 1.2, 1.1 steals per game. We'll take that. But scoring wise, I think I also like Beal. I like Beal early on. I said it, I can't understand why Beal's has dropped to like third round, even fourth, I think, from in early drafts. But yeah, Beal it is for me. We'll post that on our Twitter page on who would you rather want for the rest of the season, our FBW Faceoff. All right, that's it for this episode. It's been a seemingly long one, but it's a make-up as well for not missing yesterday. We'll try not to miss any more. I think that's our commitment. We'll try not to miss any more daily quickies. But hope you enjoyed this episode. And please, as always, subscribe, like, and follow us on our social media. Everything's linked in the description. With that, we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.